Between last Tuesday's board meeting and last night's city council meeting, we got an agreement signed between some property owners and the city of Sac City to extend the water line out towards south and Mackin on our road.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that in the minutes last week.
Here's an application for that easement, and this is the map of where we're going. I gave this to Mike this morning, and he said to just take it directly to you. I'll lay this out for you so you can kind of see where we're at and what we've discovered.
I talked to Mike last week and told him I wasn't aware of totally what you were doing.
Those people right there.
Okay. Have you talked to the city at all? Would they be willing to add, even though they don't own the system, into their one-call locate notifications? That's an issue that I have with private lines that are outside the city limits, is nobody locates them when you start doing work because nobody's called in to list them.
Well, we'll certainly do a one call.
Right,
I mean,
but as owner of this facility, you need to call one call and say, we own this system from here to here, and so then when anybody calls for one calls, you get a bill for, I don't know, if it's $1 or $3 a call, and so anybody that's digging in the area, you get the call and have to pay that.
In other words, all we need to do is list our utility with one call.
Yeah, and then somebody would have to go out and locate it then when it needed located.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Well,
The one call system does it, don't they? Don't they?
no, the utility owner has to locate their own facilities.
They do.
Yes.
Okay.
All one call is I don't know what you call it, a message center.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we need to do then is just periodically, we just need to document or to make some kind of a reference point. How far it is off of a quarter corner, section corner, or driveway? How do you?
You can locate it, the owner can locate it however he wants to locate it. The digger sees, if the digger calls and you locate it and say, okay, the line's here, and he digs over here and hits it, then I think, I'm not sure who's responsible for fixing it then. Probably you as owner, because you didn't locate it in the right spot.
So does the contractor know how to? Will he have the capability of locating that?
Should be able to. I'd have to check with Mike. I'm not sure what the rural waters are doing. You know, there used to be they ran a tracer wire with the line.
Okay.
So that,
well, the same guy that's
they don't do
doing
that anymore.
Well, we looked, they're digging down our way, and I didn't see any tracer wire.
Okay.
Maybe it's built into the pipe.
Well, I think the newer ones they're using GPS to locate it, and then they can come back and relocate it. Using GPS again.
Well, George Schmidt is our contractor, and he's doing a lot of that work for rural water, so he'll know how to locate it.
But the main thing is as owners, then you become a utility owner with one call, and you got to tell them where your line's at. And it used to be if anybody was digging in that section, you got a notification, because they didn't know whether your line was on the south side of the section or the east side of the section, and so they've narrowed that down more now, so that when you call one call, you can locate it more specifically. But they'll notify anybody that they think's got utilities in that area.
So we just need to locate that and then register with one call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
And then they'll have to have a billing address or and a fax number. Well, I don't know if they're using emails now to notify utilities. We can submit the request by email, but whether that comes from
Okay, I'll take care of that.
But I didn't know whether the city would.
Just a tile line down
if you could have talked the city into doing that for you, acting as
Eventually.
the contact.
Probably not. I mean,
Well, if we had,
they haven't
they don't have
offered
to, though.
any other
In
help
those instances,
so far. We'll
If it's
just
pressure
take care of
water
that.
or
We'll see if it
electricity.
gets registered.
The only thing I thought there was
then
that
they do.
when they,
I
anybody
thought
in this area
our
digging,
ordinance will tie
city's gonna get a
They have a
notification,
contract.
and you're also probably gonna get a
Right,
that's
notification.
right.
not private.
So you're both gonna get a bill instead of just one bill.
$3, I don't care.
Well, the only trouble is, you need to check how many requests they get for the area, because I don't know if they got it narrowed down close enough that they can locate just, is this outside the city limits or part of this inside the city limits?
Well, just this much of it's inside the city. From here,
Oh, back on your road.
yeah, all the way around. There might be, well, there's a fire hydrant there, and I'm quite sure that that fire hydrant's inside the city limits, but, you know, you can go 25 feet past that fire hydrant, and then you're out in the country. So the whole thing is virtually in the country.
But we've run in that before we were putting signposts in. We dug a hole, put a signpost in, all of a sudden there's water coming up south of Farnhamville. It's outside the city limits, it's going to a private residence, but nobody locates it. And so then you're 4 o'clock in the afternoon, nobody can find the right fittings to fix it because it's some odd size and
Oh, well,
it's
I'll make sure that we have that registered.
And, yeah, Mike and I talked about getting together and meeting with you and the contractor just to see what route you're taking, and we've got some concerns, of course, where we cross culverts and cross driveways and
What are those concerns? There's 11 driveways out there, and for us to bore those, it'd be just cost prohibitive.
I think what Mike is requiring with the rural water people is that they bore any driveway, residence driveway. The field driveways, I think he's letting them, dig through yet. The only caution we tell you there is to make sure that you get them deep enough, so if the driveway ever gets removed, the pipe isn't only this far underground. Or
Right, yeah.
we've had that problem with utility lines where they like to plow over top of them, and they plow over top of them, and then we come to take the driveway out and it cuts their cables too.
Yeah.
And so,
They're putting it like 6-7 feet deep.
which
In the ditch? Wherever they're digging.
most of the time water lines, they do put 5-6 feet. I mean,
They're way
they
down.
should be. I mean,
They're really deep.
They don't want them
Come and
freeze.
watch it.
But the trouble is, once in a while they come to a driveway that's got 3 or 4 foot fill on it, and then if they just go up and over and they're 5 or 6 foot deep up here,
Comes one.
and then you ever take the ditch out or the driveway out, then all of a sudden,
Those, like the farm drives and those things, I mean, it's just, it is cost prohibitive and not reasonable to expect those to be bored. I mean, the road bed, that's another matter, or certainly hard road, that's a no-brainer, but farm drives, yeah, it's an inconvenience and it is going to settle, but at $800 or $900 a throw for boring across the farm drive seems grossly high.
well, and in some contractors, they're getting to the point where even though I think that down Wall Lake, that electrical work they're doing, I think the part north of town was led as that it could be open trench, but I think the contractor's going to do it as boring because they figured out they've got, even though it costs them more to actually do the boring, they don't have any cleanup work to come back and try to reshape people's yards and reseed them and all the other stuff that goes.
And those, I mean, you need to assess those on each project, but simply a farm drive, and we have a lot of farm drives, to ask someone to bore through a farm drive seems way out there as far as, I mean, that drive probably costs $300 or $400 to construct the drive, and it's $800 or $900 just to bore under it. I mean, that makes no sense.
I guess I'm not sure what the crossings or driveway bores are costing.